Good morning, traders. Today is Friday, November 26th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders Live Morning Report. Okay, I'm not going to do a full live stream today because I'm not planning on trading myself, but when I saw what was happening last night, I thought if I can wake up in time, I should probably just do a quick report in the morning and give people something to look at. So last night, obviously, we had a massive sell-off in the market. It was based off of news of a new variant of COVID. And I know what you're thinking, but Charles, every time they've announced a new variant in COVID in the past, the market's gone up. It liked it because it meant that there'd be more money printing going burr. Yeah, I think the one that people are afraid of this time, the thing that is got people a little bit scared is that this one might be, like it might not, the vaccines might not work on it. It's like it's able to fight against those. So that's sort of the fear, is like, oh, the vaccines won't work this time. But I do think, as always, it's just short-term fear in the market. And short-term fear gets bought up by smart money. So that's something worth keeping in mind here. I would have thought last night when we found support, let's get into like a 15-minute, we've started to build support, right? A little bit higher here. And so I would have thought that that would have caused a bit of a short covering rally, and we would have got a push to the upside, and we didn't. So there is potential that this is just a bear flag forming, looking for a larger pullback. So what I would have thought would have happened is, as we got into here, came back down and found support this second time, that would have been the trigger for the market to really get a push higher like that. But it didn't. So this could potentially be a bear flag. There's going to be a lot of traders that wake up this morning and they are, they're in shock, they're in surprise, they're in fear mode. And so they might have to, do some allocating of their positions to work things around. PugPack did a great job of posting this morning in the Discord, just reminding everybody that with the negative gamma, right, the markets could have really volatile moves to the upside or the downside as the market makers have to chase positions around. So that's something else to keep in mind here. As far as specific levels to watch, intraday, either this area is going to act as support, right? Either these lows are going to hold and the market's going to continue higher from here. Or if we have another sell-off, the thing that jumps out at me is looking at those daily candles. We do not often pass below the 20 moving average without coming down and testing the 50, right? Every time we pass through that 20, we come down and test that 50 over and over again. So it's worth noting we got a while to get down to that 50, and that 50 moving average currently sitting in about 45.20 is where the 50 moving average is sitting. And then just above it, there's that support resistance, lateral support resistance at 45.39. And then there's also a channel bottom. Yeah. This is like a really old channel that's been here for a while on the ES. And that's sitting right at that moving average as well. So there's a lot of support for the market right around that 50 daily moving average. So if we don't find support essentially right now in the morning in this area and start trading higher today, I think that's the next stop. We'll be down there at that 50 daily moving average. Crypto markets are selling off like crazy due to the fear. Let's take a look at the Russell. Russell already tested its 50 last night. So there's definitely some risk-off sentiment in the market this morning. NASDAQ doesn't look too bad. NASDAQ did all right. We did, get down there, and technically weakness isn't really repaired unless it's done by the regular trading hours, the way we look at the markets. But one could say they got down there and repaired quite a bit of weakness in this pullback. Got two poor lows and a couple other weak references repaired, but there's still plenty more weakness down here. Just below is another poor low, right there at like 86. 45.86. And then there's still a couple gaps that remain unfilled below. So we don't want to forget about those gaps as well. So all in all, there's really not much to do here this morning other than watch the market and see what it does. Does it continue to find support in this area and then start to push higher? If so, it can get back up into yesterday's range pretty quick. It can get back up above 46.56, this morning if it gets bullish. But if it doesn't and it starts to sell lower, I would think it's heading down towards that 50 daily moving average. And the market is open. Okay, so the support from this node overnight is going to actually be at the lower end of it, right in here. If we're going to get any support from this overnight trade, that will be the area. Call it 46.18. Also, remember the good old counter auction. We may get a push higher this morning, just as a counter auction to that net short overnight activity. And so we will, they got a lot of single prints that need backfilling from the overnight. Like I said, the counter auction could easily get us back up to like 46.50. And at that point, we're almost back in yesterday's range. Obviously, internal's opening extremely bearish, but they need some time to absorb that overnight inventory. Good morning, Scooball. John, good to see you. Expecting a counter auction of the open. Well, it's too late to say so now, but that's what we're getting. Rocket, can you imagine all the big boys not at the office and seeing this? Well, you know what it reminds me of is Jim Dalton tells this story. He had a coaching client for a little while who was like a big trader. And this was like back in the day. And this guy had like 80 different phone numbers. Literally anywhere he would go, there would be a phone there. Like every bathroom in his house, like every vacation home, everything. Like he had telephones anywhere he would ever go, even on vacation, didn't matter, so that he could be gotten a hold of at any moment of any day if something was happening in the market. So I imagine if they're big enough boys, they're sitting behind a laptop right now, readjusting their positions this morning. Two Manifs, good morning to you. Could we understand week of lows as liquidity for big boys since people have tendency to put stop losses under any lows? Um, no, I don't really know that I think about it like that. So what the way I look at the what we had going on last week was just as part of being in a balancing area, um, which I know people are sick of hearing me talk about because I just keep saying balancing area, balancing area, balancing area. But there's a reason for it, you know? So this was the balancing area right here. Something like that. So you can see one end of balance, opposite end of balance. Attempted breakout that failed, opposite end of balance. Attempted breakout that failed, almost to the opposite end of balance. And actually the overnight literally just came a couple ticks above that balancing area high. Looked above and failed, opposite end of balance. Now we successfully broke out to the downside in the overnight. But if the market trades back up into yesterday's range and we get back into that balancing area, I think we're going right back to the opposite end. So could you see it as larger players getting in at that balancing area low? Yeah, you could, but really it's just normal market structure. It's just what the market does. Once it creates that balancing area, it just bounces between them very, very quickly. Wow, so the NQ actually opened inside yesterday's range, Wednesday's range. That whole sell-off stayed inside Wednesday's range. That's very interesting. Obviously less bearish, right? But as a result, they got less of a counter auction, and now they're starting to sell off. So look for support right in this area here, around 16,177. If they find it, they could push back higher from there. Joe Park, good morning to you. Welcome to Manifs. Oh, sorry, I already said good morning to you. But good morning again. Second good morning. Mo Gray, morning. Good luck. Yeah, it still feels like it's too early to make a call. That was definitely the counter auction to the overnight inventory. So now the two-way auction is starting again. And it's a question of, as they push lower, do they find support? As I said first thing this morning, if they find support in here this morning and we don't start to sell off again, I think we're heading right back up into yesterday's range. So that is to say, if they come down into here and they start to find some support this morning, look for it to turn around and head right back up into yesterday's range, into the 46.60s. But if they can't find support, if they continue to trade lower and lower and lower and there's just no support in here, then I'd immediately switch my attention to that 50 daily moving average. Which is all the way down here. Okay. Let's just scroll back and look at the past when we broke below that 20. Broke to 20, tested the 50 2 days later. Broke at 20, tested the 50 the next day. Broke to 20, tested the 50 on the same day. Broke to 20, tested the 50 the next day. Broke to 20, tested the 50 same day, and again. Broke to 20, tested the 50 the next day. Okay. Broke the 20, tested the 50 2 days later. So you guys can see, historically, if we don't pull back up into yesterday's range, there is potential for further downside continuation to that 50. Bitcoin down to 54. That is bearish. Next stop, 52. And then 51. Donkey, good morning to you. See what happens when Americans get drunk and leave Europeans in charge of the market? It's great. Jay Trader, good morning to you. Danielle, good to see you. Nunez, if you trade and put, for example, a long trade with a stop under some support area and it gets targeted, but the market attempts a second time to break out, do you re-enter that trade? Oh, that's a great question. It depends on the market. If the market is rotational, yes. But if the market is trending down and you're looking for a quick bounce off of a certain reference point, then no, you would not re-enter that because it'll break right through. So let's say there was a moving average right here, and you were like, all right, I'm going to target support on that moving average, and the market traded down and it got a bounce. You got in your trade. It started to trade higher. You see it coming back down, so you take profits, right? And then it's coming back down again. No, I wouldn't re-enter again. Obviously, the better trade in that case, all right, well, they're selling. This would be new sellers. Yes, sir. New sellers are stepping into the market. That's bearish. So yeah, you want to trade in the direction with the trend. So then there's always the go short, take profits. When it pulls back, go short again. That's a great trade, right? Selling the rips and buying the dips. And obviously, if it's rotational, if the market's just going up and down, yeah, you keep buying the lows. But it just all depends on what's happening with the market. All right, so now they're squeezing any new longs that jumped in this morning. Fausto mentioning a bear flag made me think, yeah, let's look at the 15 minutes and see. Yeah, it would appear. If you see that as a bear flag, it is broken. On its way going down. Where you going down? Okay, internals all look bearish here. For continuation to the downside. Ticks are a little bit oversold, but that shouldn't surprise anyone. Donkey, we didn't quite get to the 50 fib. Yeah, we got a long... Oh, the fib. The 50 fib. Yeah, I don't know where you draw yours, but if you're going for the longer uptrend, that's right down there. Man, there's a lot in that area. There's a lot of support right in here. And a long way to go to get down there. About double the range we've already done. Laser Eye, nice channel, first timer. Well, welcome. You've picked a random day. Normally I do a full live stream and I would be here for an hour. I'm probably not going to today, though. I mean, to my mind, once they start to break these lows over here, it's just straight down to that 50 daily moving average. George, another person finding me live for the first time. Well, welcome. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Harry, probably a catalyst move. New COVID variants. Yep, that would be the thing. So back to Nunez's earlier question, I mean more of like if a stop is triggered, for example, you think the market is about to take off and you place your stop loss under the next support area and it gets stopped out, but it tries a second time. Yeah, no, I do that all the time. So for example, let's say I was looking at this right here and I was thinking it was going to break out to the downside. So I like entered long and then got stopped out. I'd enter long again right there. I mean, sorry, if I thought I was going to find support, I would enter long. And then if it didn't get stopped out, I'd stay in that trade. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, a lot of times you have to do that. You have to like be wrong a couple of times in a row for small little losses to catch the one big move. All right, buyers beginning to defend. Rocket, I also thought today would be a sleeper. Rob, yeah, you saw I was up at 3 a.m. Yeah, I just did a bunch of drinking last night and passed out early, so I woke up randomly early. And I was like, ooh, it's 3 a.m. Like, I can finally try the 3 a.m. trade. No, sir. It just kept selling. Uh, I mean, it kind of did. The 3 a.m. turnaround, it just wasn't instantly at 3 a.m. It started at like 3:45 ish. So this was the 3 a.m. candle. And then at about 3:45, it started to do its support and move higher. But obviously, I didn't feel like sitting there and staring at the chart in the middle of the night. Okay, so at this point, I feel comfortable calling this A period low support. It's got good taper, and the ticks are trending higher now. So this would be the level to keep an eye on for the rest of the day. If the market can stay above here, it can turn around and start grinding up. But if it passes back below that current A period low, I think we're heading down to that 50 daily. So we want to find support above 46.10 from here on out. Getting below there would be bearish for continuation to the downside. We got a level right here at 46.22 that needs backfilling for sure. Only 46 contracts in there. And obviously, as it pushes higher, we're looking for that resistance. The momentum is to the downside, so the probability of finding resistance and making another push are higher than a recovery. Correct. Yeah, the market's closed today at 1 p.m. Eastern. But obviously, they will have picked a direction by then. Hello, darkness, my old friend. The bears are taking a stab again. They want to see us get to the 50 daily SMA where the swing traders are waiting so that they can get the market on a discount buy. My oh my. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to call it a morning here and get back to chilling out back and relaxing all cool. I'll shoot some b-ball outside of the school. So look to these two areas here. This area between like 31 and 37-ish, okay, as potential resistance to the upside. If the market pushes back up in there and it can't get any higher, it's looking to take another stab lower. Look at this area down here as support. So if they can continue to find support, they're going to try to push higher. But if they break above this area, they're heading back up into yesterday's range. And if they break below this area, they're heading down to that 50 daily moving average, which once again is sitting at about 45.20. Okay. So I wish you all happy trading. And if you're in the Brigade, jump into the Discord and keep the conversation going. If you're not, I will see you here on Monday morning. I wish you all the best. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Bye-bye.